Welcome to the Traits and Mindset of a Leader panel. You guys must have heard so many different leaders speak. And as you know, a leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So here we are here to talk about what exactly does it take to be that leader? What are the traits? What are their mindset? And more importantly, this is for women out there who are trying to become leaders. So let's hear from our esteemed panelists. We have three panelists. Let me introduce them. Firstly, we have Madiha Khan, who is from Lahore, Pakistan. She's the founder and CEO of House of Passion. She's a coach, consultant, as well as a mentor in several domains, and several domains such as agile, personal excellence. She also works with people and organizations to empower them to create a career and life they love. So let's take a second to hear from Madiha. Madiha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Sudha, and thanks to Thai Global Summit and all the team to have me here. I'm very excited, and thanks to all the participants. So yes, I'm here and I'm representing House of Passion, and it is basically the name suggests it all. Basically, I'm passionate about coaching, and overall, even why I'm doing coaching is to empower people. And through empowering people, we can empower the organizations and we can empower this planet. So for me, this is very important that everyone knows what is their potential, what is their purpose and passion in their life, and then they can optimize it and live it fully to make this world a better place. Thank you.
Great. The second panelist we have is Catherine B. Roy. She's the founder and CEO of LHM International. She's also a business coach with a client base in about 14 countries. She has the distinction of being certificated by Goldman Sachs 10K Women's Program of Business Development. She's also received several awards, including Top 30 Under 30, Top 20 Global Thought Leaders, as well as Top 100 Women B2B. And she has her writings published in several publications out there, including HuffPost and Thrive Global. Let's hear from her and welcome her.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure to share this space with you. Well, I have just one mission to help people to do what they love and to make their lives and businesses flourish. Therefore, I've developed different frameworks and systems which can be easily implemented to any kind of business, which we are now doing online during this time. I actually was COVID positive 7 days ago, and I am happy to say that this is my first public appearance after that. And I'm very, very excited to share this space with you. Thank you.
I share that with you. I actually just got tested negative. I've been COVID positive as well. Welcome to the new world, I guess.
Thank you. Yes.
Finally, we have our final panelist, Helen Yu. Helen is actually the CEO and founder of Tigan Advisory Group. As a technology leader, she enables global players to scale through a people-first framework. She's also a global top 20 thought leader in 10 categories, including digital transformation, AI, IoT, and marketing. She's very passionate, especially in mentoring female leaders for the last 10 years. So let's hear from her.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Last year, as a matter of fact, in May, I was giving a keynote speech at Thai conference in Santa Clara. So I'm really glad to return to Thai, and because what you do really captured my passion, right? You think about the passion for becoming a multiplier, extending success to other people's success, and then also leadership is dear near my heart. So I look forward to the opportunity to sharing experience with you, also learning from many of you. And thank you for having me here.
Great. So let's begin this conversation by hearing about their personal journeys. I think these guys are the best example of the leaders that the industry has. These guys are the most successful people out there. So just to begin with understanding the traits, what are the traits that help them to be where they are? So let's start with Helen. Helen, what do you think is how is your personal journey started, and what are the traits that got you to be where you are today?
Well, there are 3 traits that got me where I'm at today. Number 1 is the curiosity. Number two is having an insatiable hunger to learn. And number
Nice.
three, being a risk taker. So I actually started my career as an accountant and financial analyst. So from there, every job I held meant learning an entirely new set of skills, a new industry or new side of business. Curiosity and learning actually open up new worlds, right, for me. I learned to code as a Hyperion consultant and went on to design and implement 400 plus financial planning applications, working alongside the CFOs and CIOs early in my career.
Yeah.
And then being a risk taker has led me to share my love of learning and knowledge with others. In every position, I've accepted the challenge that comes with uncharted waters. I actually run an Oracle BI consulting practice post Oracle acquisition back in 2007. And then I became a solution architect with the added pleasure of learning from Oracle EVP of sales, Keith Block. Under his tutelage, I learned the nuances of enterprise solution sales at Oracle. And then at Adobe, I then learned marketing and SaaS, and then also successfully led the enterprise scale up challenges at Marketo later on. So in fact, my post-Marketo journey led me to recognize critical disconnects in growth-driven technology companies, prompt me to become an entrepreneur of a growth accelerator, Taigang Advisory.
Nice. And this is amazing. I mean, from accounting to BI to solutions architect to being a founder of a company, that's quite a journey in itself. And now finally mentoring all those people that you're mentoring, that's in itself is an amazing journey. And it's you brought in so many interesting things, which are all about like who leaders should be. And this is something I want to take with the rest of you as well. I think it doesn't matter for a leader in what space they are in. It doesn't matter what technology they are in. It's more about them having to like be okay with learning, having the curiosity to learn, and even do it as fast as they can, and keeping up with the things in the industry, I guess. So I want to take this and start maybe like adding to the traits, or think about like Catherine, what's been your journey, or if these traits are relevant, and what other traits have been resonating with you.
Well, my life was a true roller coaster. I survived bombing in ex-Yugoslavia when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
So imagine a girl in a basement with basic food and water. I seriously didn't know if I'm going to live the next day. So even so young, I realized that control is an illusion. It's something that absolutely doesn't exist. And back then I was working on my second scientific work because I always was a geek. So no food, no electricity, just a candlelight, and I was finishing that. After the war, I've graduated economics, business marketing, and information technology, and started working as a Java web developer, actually, in a very large international companies. I was developing systems for all areas of business, including accounting and finances and HR and all of that. But something in me was pushing me out because I just couldn't fit in that box. I mean, I love technology. It's in my DNA, but I had an urge to write a book. I did so, and I understood Amazon's algorithm. So I've hit 8 best-selling lists on Amazon on the release day.
Yeah.
And the rest is like a fairy tale. My social media expanded to 150,000 followers. I helped over 1,000 people in their personal development. And then, of course, they started to reach out to me to teach them about business and how I'm doing that online, actually. So I am so happy to say now that I work with people from 14 countries who work with companies like Forbes and BMW and Pepsi and Hollywood and whatever, just say it. And I am living the life which I always desired. So I want people to understand that we can do anything we desire to, and however we wish to create that life,
Yeah.
if we focus on our mind and actually switch from the mindset of lacking to the mindset of abundance. And every know-how is valuable, but I would say that the heart and mind space are needed and H2H connection. Although you said I'm a thought leader for B2B, but H2H connection, like human to human, is the first thing which will set us apart and to our road to success. So I would like everyone to encourage you if I could do that. I mean, seriously.
I think when we started, I didn't even know so much about each of your journeys, and I'm already starting to get blown away. I don't know about like the traits, but there's already so many learnings out here. I think thank you so much for sharing that beautiful like story about yourself and how you have come to be. And I think the one thing that you did mention is for a leader, more than any other traits, the most important thing is in believing in themselves. I think you said like yeah, lacking to abundance, which means like more getting to a positive place and believing in yourself is the most important thing. So that's very beautiful. So from here, let me ask the same question or pose the same question to Madiha. Would love to hear your journey and some of the traits that you have like come across or got you here.
Sure. Thank you, Sudha. And I think I can definitely relate with abundance mindset, which Catherine has talked about. So when it comes to my journey, now I talk about it that when I look back, it has been like, it's a journey from impossible to I am possible.
Mm.
Because there had been so many things, and even across my 12 years work journey, and let's say before that when I was studying. So yes, even I'm a learner for life, and that is one trait which definitely counts. Other is consistency, which one shall have. And it's about the courage to follow the goals, no matter how difficult the journey can be.
Mm.
So always keep an eye on your goals. And even if the journey is difficult, you shall keep going on towards reaching your goals. And let's say sometimes things will not work as you planned. And in fact, this is most of the time, that is how it happens. But then just make changes and adapt to those changes into your journey. But you shall keep an eye and focus towards your goals. So this has been my journey, and there have been so many things where I never thought that I am going to be. There are certain achievements in my career that where when I reflected back, I realized that I am not only the only Pakistani within my country, but I'm the only Pakistani across the world who has taken those who has taken those achievements, and I have represented my country that way. And basically, this is where I always knew that one shall work hard. I always, deep in my heart, I knew that, okay, I want to do something which is going to make an impact. And even earlier, to be honest, I didn't know about it, that what exactly I want to do. I never knew that I am going to turn out to be a coach. And, but yes, what I knew that, okay, I am going to be a people's person. I am going to make the impact. And so it has been like very a journey which has like into a constant transformation, because growth is inevitable, and that is what my like life has been. So I'm always up for, let's say, changes and challenges. I embrace them. So a trait for a leader or for every person shall be, that is like definitely now more than three traits which I'm talking about, but
Mhm.
it's about, yes, to be ready and to embrace the changes and always go for it. Rather, changes are coming to our way, and rather we shall go towards it.
Yeah.
And also, yes, being a leader, this one trait which is very important, and I believe many can relate with it, and that is what we all can focus on, is that we shall ensure that we are not only having the followers, but rather those people who are taking inspiration from us. And if we are making any difference for them, they shall be the leaders as well. So they shall
Just
be empowered. Yeah.
just when I thought I won't be blown away anymore, it looks like there's one more to add on. So thank you so much for sharing that story. And I think the key takeaway from you, you had mentioned, is that change is inevitable. So be ready for it. And also, this mindset of leaders think about creating leaders, not followers, right? It's the whole idea of like take the courage to become who you are, and then lead more people along the way. So that in itself is superb traits to think about. But given all of you are women also, I want to steer this discussion a little bit more catered to women. So this is something we see, which is despite having all the skill set, we see that a majority of super Hello?
Hello.
You guys hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
So
now yes.
I think I got disconnected there for a second. Yeah. So despite having all the skill set, a majority of super talented women spend their lives convinced that they're not good enough to compete. How can such women grow to be leaders or like become inspiring leaders that you guys have all become? Like, what do you guys think they should like? What are the steps or what suggestions would you have for them?
Shall I go first?
Let's like start with Madiha since we have
All right. Thank you, Subha.
yeah. Go
So
ahead,
yes,
Madiha.
yes. So my message for all the women and for all the genders who are here and who are listening it, and especially like when we are talking about the women. So first of all, have the self confidence. Like we are all human beings, and no one is less than any other human being. So that is first that sometimes what we people do that there we start perceiving things differently. It depends that what is our surroundings, and maybe that is the impact we are taking. It can be implicit, it can be explicit, and sometimes we think because when we do not know, it's like there is a box, and if we are living inside of that box, so we think, okay, this is the whole world and this is how things work. But unless we are going to try differently, only then we will find that to do anything, there is not only one way to do it, but there are multiple ways to do it. So that is why always keep experimenting and have that confidence. And what everyone can do, and especially women can do, that this is something which I like always say that please do not compare yourself or compete with others. So always be a better version of yourself, compete with your own self, that like who I was yesterday and now today, what difference have I made in my own life? Is there something which I have learned today, or am I living like my life for the 2 days, and is it the same, or did I had any value, did I learn any value for myself, or did I share something with other which was able to help them? So yes, and like whenever there is a comparison, it shall be a healthy comparison. So if we see, yes, there are so many role models around us, take the inspiration from them. And what women can do when they want to become leaders, they want to live a life which they want. So first explore their passion, and it is not easy itself. Like sometimes we do not know that what exactly we want, but we can only find out by trying that. Okay, and always take a stop that okay, the things which you like, start doing them and see that do you want to make a career out of them or not, or do you want to take it further? Because yes, it's like I have a list of like 5 interests which I love in my life, but then I chose that okay, what is going to be my passion, what is going to be my, let's say, hobby, something which will I'll continue doing it, but this is the one path which I'm taking as my career, and rest of the interest I'm still living them. And yes, what everyone can do who is listening and watching us right now, that connect with people. So networking is definitely there. You can always do it virtually, online, in person, and connect with those people who inspire you, who are the role models.
Yeah.
And yes, so this is what I have been living like for last 3-4 years. There were certain domains where there was, let's say, less work has
Yeah.
been done in my region or in my country. So what I did, I connected with people in US, in Australia, in Singapore, even in India. And then, like, because I wanted to know what is happening within my own region, what
Yeah.
is happening across, different continents. So
Yeah.
I connected with them. I showed them that this is what who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to learn.
Yeah.
And I got the help from everyone. Like
Yeah.
literally, I will not say that there was like any case that where okay someone will say no to me, because
Yeah.
when I'm showing them my passion, they were equally convinced to help me, yes, to guide me. And this is what we all can do. And yes, this is how everyone can go on what they want to do. So when there is no opportunity, or if we do not see any opportunity, we can always create.
Always network. And this is actually a really good segue, as in we do have about 30,000 entrepreneurs attendees out there, and we have several women out there as well. And you actually have access to about 700 to 800 speakers, but all of these are esteemed, like even the 30,000 out there are like owners of so many firms, so many passions. So even if it's online, like go network and like try to like see if you can access other things as well, even on this platform. So that's a great suggestion, Madiha. And always like compete with yourself is a great like takeaway, as well as if you're thinking about ways to like explore your passions and like just go after like who is the leader for that passion and go speak with them if possible. So they'll maybe the maximum, like the best thing they can say is no, but if they say yes, you learn from it. So that's superb takeaway. So with that, let's like hear the same question posed to Helen and hear her views on it.
So my apologies. There's a network interruption. I did not hear what the question was. Is it about how can women grow to be a stronger leader, or?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay. Well, there are four things I would say, right? I think the first is, well, let's start with, I grew up actually in China, and then growing up there where, as you know, where boys were more ravished, helped give me the grit to stay the course, right? I was the youngest and the only girl among 10 cousins in the house, growing up with my grandmother. And if I wanted to be heard, I had no choice but to be resilient to failure and persistent, right, in my ask. But there are four things I like to share, right? The number one is that women emerge as stronger leaders when we support each other, promote each other.
Yeah.
I mean, because a water drop in the ocean won't really create any ripples, but a wave is a force of nature. And I love the communities like the Athena Alliance, Women in Tech, Him for Her, because they are really rallying women in tech and saying, look, we have to change the culture. We have to hire more women in tech careers, find more investment dollars for each, the tech founders, and have more women joining the boards, right? And number two is that we need to feel more comfortable taking roles with revenue responsibilities. I mentor and coach a lot of up and coming female leaders in Silicon Valley in the past 10 years, where I urge them to learn more about the business, understand revenue and cost drivers, and learn how to read financial statements. Right? As my math teacher said, it does not exist if it's not measurable. So take a role that you can make measurable impact as early as you can in your career. Number three is that career is a marathon, not a sprint. It's so critical to build a board of directors for your personal career growth. For me, this has been extremely critical. I actually re-elect my personal board of director every year. For example, this year, my goal is to get on the board, right? And then I have Beverly and Cynthia, who are both experienced board members. I talk to them once a month to seek advice. And in addition, I have seasoned CEOs, executives, and investors on my personal board to broaden my perspectives. I check in with them once every other month or on a as needed basis. That really opens up my perspective, right? Because you cannot be just to look at what you have achieved, and you have also to learn from others, even through any single conversation, regardless of their title and their job function. I learn from everybody I speak to, right? Even from this panel, I learned tons from all of you. And then last thing I would say, don't work for any company that you don't have shared value with. Never lower your standard of integrity in order to advance your career. Life is too short to think that you are not good enough, right? And work with those who appreciate you, inspire you, and believe in you.
Okay. That's actually superb. And I think the key themes that are resonating is definitely believe in yourself, but it's also finding a mentor or finding a network that you can like become who you, that will help you become who you are. And I think those are the themes that are resonating. Before I go on to Catherine, a quick request. We are actually getting a lot of um, attendees are like super excited about the panel. They actually have several questions being posed. So are you guys okay with extending the session 10 more minutes?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sorry, because we have quite a few questions that are coming in, and I'm super excited about it. But I don't want to delay like times on your side either.
No problem.
So yeah, there's quite a few coming in. So let's like do that. Thank you so much, guys, for being available and yeah, keeping this going. And let's like go on to Catherine to hear what are like some of her insights into this.
Well, first, I would like to say that I was that woman. Yeah, believe it or not. Like 100%. I was always shy. I was always in the back. I guess I never realized my own value until a lot of very serious life circumstances happened. And I've completely transformed my life. And I want to give insights um, about five very important things I believe that are crucial. First one is actually consciousness. There are four levels of consciousness which I can recognize. The first one is like 90% of people is actually living. They have jobs, they go to work, they pay bills, and that's life. Not exactly, because on the second level, you actually realize that there is maybe something that you can do about it, right? So I wrote my book. English is not my native language. I had no idea how I'm going to publish that. I was rejected from 246 United States publishers.
Whoa.
Until 247 said yes. So, of course, is it painful? Sure. Do you have to grow from it? Absolutely yes. Do you have to continue? Absolutely yes, if you believe that that is your path. So what happened on that journey? Brian McGill, who is extremely powerful public figure, supported me actually. And after his editorial review and 12 million followers or however, that is how things happen. So the next level of consciousness is when you allow things to manifest for you, and then when things actually grow through you. The second thing is being aware of these levels of consciousness and try to grow yourself from that first level to the higher levels of consciousness. The third thing is networking. We're absolutely agreeing with this. I love work of Dean Ferrazzi. He's identifying three levels of connections. A connections, like I've established connections with Ariana Huffington or Brian McGill, or but you can just knock on their door. You need the way to them, and that's B connections like super connector and C connectors. So you grow, you establish yourself as an expert, you build your personal brand and grow. It takes time. As Helen said, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And of course, there is know-how, which you need to know, but as you can see, know-how is on the fourth place. Because if you don't have developed all these skills, and those are personal growth skills, no matter what kind of know-how you have. I'm a Mensa member, they can't measure my IQ, but I had that all my life. What I didn't have is strong belief in myself, strong belief in my open heart, which people will feel and decide to work with me because they will feel good and they will get results in the same time. And the last thing is we need to increase emotional intelligence and intelligence on the highest level we can, and then proceed our journey from that place, because artificial intelligence and machine learning are taking over. But what they cannot take over is creative thinking and emotional intelligence and empathy. And who has the most powerful empathy, emotional intelligence, and creative thinking than women? So if women are leading business, if women are on the positions of leaders, I believe there will be no wars. And I believe that companies, I'm sorry guys, I love you too, but I'm obviously on our side. And I think this world would be a little bit more better place. Yeah.
When I started out this panel, honestly, I didn't know where this is going to shape up. But I'm at a place where I personally am also struggling in terms of like whether this is my passion or this is what I want to do, or this is like I didn't have the courage to actually like even take on more things. But just hearing like some of the thoughts is kind of pushing me towards maybe it's like it's time to take the risk. It's time to like live a life that you want, and that's if it's pushing me towards that. I'm sure like several attendees are feeling that as well. So I firstly have to thank all of you guys, and let's like jump into like we have quite a few audience questions that are coming in. So let me like take those on. So the first question that came on is, how do we keep ourselves cool when things don't go our way? How do you as a leader keep your spirits high when things don't like go haywire? And this happens all the time. I think um, Catherine already talked about this. She actually approached 246 publishers, and 247th was the one that came her way. But not everyone has that same persistence. So how do you keep that cool? Or maybe it's a question to start off for Catherine. How do you keep that cool, and how do you tackle it?
Well, for me, the game changer was when I realized that rejection is just a divine redirection. So I don't take it personally,
Yeah,
and every no is actually no thank you from my side. So this is a huge, huge shift of
nice.
the mindset. I had my dream company. I
Yeah.
wanted to work with them, and they said no thank you. And I will be honest, I was crying when I received that email. But Goldman Sachs came 10 days after that. And Goldman Sachs is seriously much more powerful than that previous one. So, yeah, in personal life and in business, just remember that's just a redirection to something better, and just continue doing what you love, and you will succeed for sure.
That's great. Yeah, Madiha, do you want to add more to that? I think a no thank you is like, yeah, I'll remember that for sure. What other what other things to keep cool?
Okay, so yes, like, we all go through such situations where something is not happening as we wanted, despite we have worked hard. But first is the faith and the confidence that, okay, I have done my best,
Hmm.
and yet maybe this is not the time that I am getting the results as I wanted. So how about I try again? That is one. And yes, I can always try again. And to keep cool, for me, what happens is like, this is something which I personally practice, and this is what have been like common into my, like, clients, this trait overall,
Hmm.
that okay, when you know what is your vision of your life, then you will think about it. So rather, just like, being discouraged by any hardships which are happening into the life or towards reaching those goals, so think about the vision, that why did you start in the first place, and right now, do you want to quit or do you want to restart?
Hmm.
So yes, so these are like, this is how we can foster our mindset,
Yeah.
and then it's like, then the journey will be easier. It is always like, difficult, but it's about the courage which we are giving to ourselves, that
Hmm.
no, we shall, like, go on that way. And I, like, something like, this thing which, like, I live by is that, okay, sometimes the situations are not in our control, but what is in our control is, are we going to react on it or are we going to respond on it?
Yeah.
Though these are just like, a difference of the words, but there is a quote which is my favorite, that words create the world.
Hmm.
And this is what I relate with the neuro linguistic programming, that what I am feeding to my brain, that is what I'll become.
Hmm.
So yes, so this is why when we know that, okay, like, something is not cool and how I can keep cool, so this is what I will feed myself, that I have two choices,
Yeah.
that, like, am I going to react, or like, to do something which is not me, which is not my values, or
Hmm.
shall I respond by like keeping my integrity intact?
Got it. Great. Helen, before I go on to you, I'm going to add another question to you that is very
Yeah.
relevant to you, which is this is the question from an audience again, which is in times where artificial intelligence, like in times of artificial intelligence
Mhm.
adoption, how could business leaders take advantage of this technology to empower their vision or to empower themselves to be better leaders? So that's probably like a very relevant question to you. So I would welcome you to start, and like we'll see
Okay,
where it
so
goes.
you want me to answer both or just the
Yeah,
second
you
one?
can answer. You can start with your key takeaways
Okay,
and this one as well.
sure. Well,
Sorry to add in.
first of all, I have had more failure than success in my career and personal life as well. So don't feel like you are alone if you are being rejected or you're at the moment where it's not your best moment. Every one of us is going through, has gone through that, right? The key is to focus on what you've learned from that failure or what are things you're going to do differently, right? When I actually had a failure, I usually take a moment, take a pause to reevaluate, right? To say, where did I miss and why that happened? And then I reach out to others to validate my thinking, right? I wouldn't just to let it go and then do something in the same, right? The same way. So there's a book about yes lives in the land of no. So when you're rejected, um, don't feel, just take a moment to pause and then pick the lesson and then talk to people sharing about your experience and then to see maybe your goal was not realistic to begin with, or maybe you were not supported right in the environment. Then if you're going to do this again, what are the things you're going to do differently next time? And that's really critical. The other thing I would also say that when I've been to, I assume all of you have been to a funeral, you've watched a movie, right? When you go to a funeral, when when they talk the eulogy, right? I started writing my eulogy 5 years ago because I really prompt to me is so critical to think about when you go to a funeral. No one talks about the title, job title of that person who passed, right? Everybody share about what's the profound impact that person has made to you as part of your life, how much and how they make you feel. So what's so important for all of us, and I came up with like the things you want people to remember you, right? What kind of legacy you want to leave behind, because that's so critical. Once you have that nailed down, what's going to happen is that you're going to leave a moment of failure aside, right? That's not the most important to you anymore. Because
Yeah.
what's more important is that you think about, yes, I failed at one point, but have I helped others? What kind of profound impact I've made on others? Like for me personally, I want to be a multiplier, right? I want to multiply other people's joy,
Yeah.
prosperity, and knowledge. And then if the small moment of failure only has a tiny little thing or moment, right? That's a snapshot. But if you look at that in the bigger picture, have a growth mindset, and then really take the lesson you learn from that moment, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I see the same common theme coming across, which is the mindset is the most important for a leader, for an entrepreneur, or for a woman. I think before they become an entrepreneur or a leader, that's the first thing to do, which is believe in yourself. And if every infant actually stopped walking every time they stumbled, none of us would be walking. And I think that's the mindset for all of us to take even into like finding our passions, finding our goals, and finding our like becoming who we are. And that's an awesome like takeaway in itself. Like it's enabling it to like go to where we are. So Helen,
Exactly.
let's like take a quick minute to like answer like the other question. We have several
Sure.
questions coming in, but we have 5 minutes more to go. So I wanna
Yeah.
see your take on how technology can help us get there.
Yeah.
And then let's get into the final takeaways.
Sure. So when it comes to technology, I'm a firm believer in the growth thrives at the intersection of technology and humanity, right? So I wouldn't just focus on technology alone, because it's what really happens that technology needs really to be leveraged to advance human, right? Advance us. We need to really figure out, number one, focus on what problem, business problem or personal problem you want to solve first. Right? If you want to solve that, what kind of positive business impact you want to make leveraging technology? And then you can say, what kind of capability we need that we can leverage using that technology to solve this problem. That's where you can be a lot more successful when putting technology in that context. What organizations oftentimes they are not as successful because they focus so much on, okay, everybody using AI, I got to go, adopt AI, but then for what, right? And then why? And then also, you want to make sure you think about the psychological impact it could have and change management that comes with that, right? It's only the successful technology adoption, only 20% relies on the features and functionalities. The 80% is on the change management, on the psychological impact you manage, and then the upscaling workforce that's involved in that context.
That makes sense. I think, it needs to be relevant as well, right? If you put a video tool in a car on a backseat for enabling your kids to watch, great. If you do it on the driver's seat, that's no longer technology. So we need to be cognizant of like those kinds of things for sure. So this has been super interesting, and although we have several questions coming in the interest of time, I want to wrap this up to hear for anybody like listening, or for entrepreneurs and women leaders, what do you guys if you had to summarize key takeaways in terms of like what they can take and act on today, starting today, if they can change their lives, what would that be? Like if it's what can they take from here on? Madiha, let's start with you and hear about that.
Okay, so one key takeaway, if I want to give for all the audience, will be that take the risk, have that courage. And basically, because what happens, and this has been a common pattern for all of us, let's say for all the human beings, that we even are afraid to try something new. And this is what even my clients have told, that no, Madiha, I'm afraid that what if the other person will say no to me? I will feel awkward, or I will feel embarrassed. But I think, like, just by thinking or keep dwelling to that thought that no, what will happen if that person will say no to me, or that person will, like, not help me. So that means we are missing out on a bigger picture. So please take that risk, and then do not take it personal that if someone else has said no to you. At least you will not be repenting that, okay, you never tried. Because there is another quote which I would like to refer here, and I think many of would have heard of it, that basically we do not repent for the choices or chances we made, but rather the one which we didn't take, actually. So please take that risk. And when I say that take the risk, so it means a calculated and wise risk, that what are you going to do, or what do you want to do.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jump into that cold water, and then you might no longer feel the cold. But know that there is actually a bottom, right? So yeah, that's cool takeaway. Helen, what do you think? What are the good takeaways?
I would encourage everyone to go through the 3-word brand exercise, right? What are the 3 words does your brand own and set you apart? And then think about what legacies you'd like to leave behind. For me, I mentioned about I really want to be a multiplier, right? And then if this was the last day on Earth, I would hope the people left behind would say, I've made their lives better in measurable ways.
And then lastly, this is a big thing for all of the women. Know that you have everything you need to succeed. Believe in yourself first. Then build your career and business with the confidence of a tiger.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Like, believe in yourself, and I guess, think about the legacy you leave behind. So Catherine, like what are the points that you would like to add?
Well, I would like to add that the first thing you can do, like right away, find that one person who is walking the road that you would like to walk on, and try to establish a healthy human connection with that one person. From that point, everything else can just flourish for you, because you will start feeling like you already succeeded something. In other words, start working on your dreams, or someone else will hire you to work on their dreams. Yeah.
Those are awesome takeaways. And I actually am doing that. I'm working for someone else's dream and not mine. That's something that I need to take on. But I have to say thank you guys. And I can't even tell you how many questions we are receiving ongoing. And I already thank you guys for extending and being available to stretch the time by 15 more minutes. So attendees out there, you have heard these wonderful women, one from China, one from Pakistan, the other from Yugoslavia, like become who they are. And their takeaways for you guys today has been like, think about always take the risk. Like if there is a passion out there, go after it. And before you go after it, like find the mentors, find the network that can support you. And most importantly, when you're going after it, believe in yourself. I think that's the mindset that all of them have suggested. And I am definitely going to be one of their mentees very soon. So I would welcome you all to like do the same as well. But thank you for the super panel, guys. This has been super inspirational for me personally, and for me to take on certain steps as well. So can't thank you enough for it. Once again, great session. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.